Hi, so my name is Mitzi.
Hi,
Hi,
and I'm Mehmet.
Mahmed, very nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too. Thank you.
So, and I believe that you want to practice for a job interview.
Yes.
Okay, could you perhaps tell me a little bit more about this job interview? What kind of job it is, or what your profession is?
I'm currently working as a manager of an export company, and we are exporting natural stones for construction business like marble, travertine, and that kind of stuff. So I guess it will be an international company that will be hiring an employer for, natural stone business.
Yes, okay, yeah. And obviously, yes, if it's an international company or global company, uh, the interview will be more than likely in English.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay, that's great. So let's start. If you have, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Okay.
And if I see that there are, mistakes, then I will type them out for you, and I will correct you after each question.
Okay.
Okay. So, so the first question would be, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. As I said, my name is Mehmet. I was born in Stuttgart, Germany in 1990, and I have made my major in mathematics in Bilkent University, and with a scholarship. And then I have joined the company that I'm currently working in. As I said again, we are exporting natural stones, and the material is from Turkey. It's Turkish origin, and we are exporting it mainly to US and Australia. That's our main markets. Yeah, I think that's all.
Yes, perfect. That's great. Okay, so what are your strengths?
My strengths, I think, one that I think that is important is perseverance. I think it usually many problems can be solved by just persevering. That's why I think it could be my strength.
Okay, yes, that could be a good strength. Yes, yeah. And so on the opposite end, if I had to ask you what your weaknesses are, what would you tell me?
As a weakness, I think it might be sometimes, to be honest, it might be sometimes a little bit harder for me to change my position, my point of view. I think that's a bad habit, to stuck with some ideas, not all, but some ideas. So I have to work on changing, Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what are you doing to change these habits?
Well, first, I'm aware that I have a weakness at that, habit. So I keep that in mind, and I always remind myself that when I see a problem or when I have to make a decision, I remind myself that I'm usually stuck with my ideas. So I say don't do the same mistake and just think the opposite way, or think from a different perspective, think out of the box and such things. So I just, by reminding myself again and again, I try to find an alternative for it, for the issue I'm dealing.
Okay. I really like what you said, because, you know, when we were talking about the weakness, you said that you are aware of it and you keep it at the back of your mind, and you know that it's there and you change it. And that is, you know, that is really, really good, because when you're going in for an interview, and they ask you what your weakness is, they want to know that you can turn your weakness into a positive and that you are aware of it. Because if you just give a weakness and you don't say how you're going to fix it, that's not a really very good thing. So yeah, that was actually a very good answer. And that's what, you know, potential employers really do look for. Yeah. So how would your co-workers or your boss describe you?
For my co-workers, I think, well, actually this you know, question should be answered by them, but I think they would describe me as a polite person. You know, I'm concentrated not on arguing or not on negative sides, but on solving the issues. That's why they would think me a cooperative person and a polite person, I think. For my boss, I think he will definitely agree that I'm a hard worker.
Okay, perfect. So they would think of me as a hard worker. Okay,
yeah.
think of me as.
Okay, they would think of me.
Yeah. So would you be willing to travel?
Yes, because not apart from I'm already traveling a lot. I really like traveling. That's why, but not just like you know, just visiting places, but trying to understand and gain something from what I see. That's why traveling wouldn't bother me, because as I said, Turkey has lots of natural stone resources, and most of them come from different cities. Like one city in eastern part of Turkey, one in western part of Turkey, one in central Anatolia, and that's why usually I go to those places by driving and check the materials, check the production and things like that. That's why I'm already traveling a lot. Also, we are attending, as a company, we are attending to fairs and shows in US, in Italy, and that's why I'm already traveling, and I do really like it.
Okay, so another good phrase that you can use as well is familiar with traveling and do it regularly. Yeah, regularly.
Okay.
So would you be willing to relocate?
Well, as I'm not married, there is nothing that would hold me back if I think it is necessary. You know, I have already studied in different in different cities. Like I was in Ankara for university, and I was for my first half of my life I was in Stuttgart in Germany, and now I'm working in Konya, a different city. So yeah, if it's an obligation, I can relocate.
Okay, so you've already already lived in 2 different countries, so you are familiar with living in
Yeah,
different places.
exactly. I'm already familiar with it.
Yeah. So, you know, that's a very good thing. Yeah. And okay, so do you have any questions so far?
No, but I have read about you that you live in South Africa.
I'm
Or
from South Africa.
yeah,
Yeah.
you are. Yeah, I was in like 6 months before. I was in South Africa for a business meeting. Yeah, and I
Oh,
really like the
okay.
country. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yeah, 6 months ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago. I was
Yeah.
there
Where
in
did you
Joburg.
travel in South Africa?
In Joburg.
Johannesburg,
Yeah,
Joburg.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
very beautiful
And
country.
did you get to go to Cape Town?
No, because I was traveling from Lagos, Nigeria. I had a meeting there too, and I had to return. We were traveling as a group of Turkish businessmen within the same sector. We were a trade delegation, so it was already prearranged, and I couldn't get the chance to go to Cape Town. Sorry.
Wow, okay. Well, it sounds like you certainly have done a fair amount of traveling to Nigeria. And why
Yeah.
Nigeria? Do they have stones there as well?
Not for we visited there not for the buying option, but for the selling options. You know,
Ah,
it has a natural stone has a good market in Africa, as far as I can see. In the
mhm.
especially considering South Africa, you are already familiar with it, and you have the suitable climate for natural stone. Like coastal areas usually use it, and it's really beautiful. It looks beautiful, like the coastal areas of US and Australia.
Mhm.
And one thing I have noticed in South Africa is that people have the um, English way of thinking. You know, that makes it easier them to do business with us, or it makes it easier for us to do business with them. That's
Yeah,
why I think it would be a great market in the future, near future.
yeah. Well, South Africa used to be, you know, many years ago, it used to be a
Mm,
British colony.
yeah,
So, you know, because of that, yes, they have the British influence. Um, there's also a lot of Dutch influence because, you know, soon
yeah.
after the Dutch also got to, you know, go to or landed in South
Mm,
Africa.
the Boer
So,
Wars, yeah.
yes, yes.
Mm,
So from way back, we've got
yeah,
the Dutch influence and we have, you know, the British influence as well.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yes, so our English is more British English, and our
Mm,
way of thinking is definitely closer to,
yeah,
as you said, the English way than the American way.
yeah, yeah. That's easy to notice. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So okay, so let's carry on and let's see how much further we can get. So are you more of, in what ways are you an organized person or a disorganized person?
Well, I think I'm an organized person, but uh, I look at it from a different perspective. Like being too much organized is not always a positive thing. As I said, you can get stuck with some things that are time consuming, but not that much important than what you should be considering, actually. That's why being too organized is not always something very positive, but I think I'm fairly organized. I think
Okay. So how long did you live in Germany for?
that I have lived like 9 years. in Germany. I went to the like the third class and the preschool, you know, the kindergarten. I went there, and then my family returned to Turkey, and I returned with them, obviously, and continued my education in Konya. Then for university, I went to Ankara, and now I'm back in Konya and working in Konya.
Okay, because I've never been to Germany. It certainly is my wish to go there one day. But you know, from what I've heard and from German friends that that I had in South Africa, the Germans are very organized, and
Yes,
that's why I asked you when you were talking about organization, because the Germans really do know their stuff when it comes to organization.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's they always carry their agendas with them to check their meetings. Yeah, I think when I think to improve my business, I think every nation has a really positive, like it's a habit, but national habit, I call it, and you can learn everything from each nation that they have, like being organized from Germans, and different things from different nations. There are also one thing I have trying to imitate, let's say, is that they they don't spend too much on luxury, and they always do their work clearly, and they're just done with it. They don't just sometimes in Turkey we have that negative side. We sometimes spend too much on luxury, and but they have a really, I don't know how to put that word, but they really live very quietly and very,
very, you can say that they live very simply.
Simply, yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So actually the Germans come across as, yes, as we discussed, they are very organized, but they come across as being not so really friendly, but they really are. They're friendly, but they will only open up once they really get to know you.
Yeah, that's true. Really, that's correct. I think that as well. We last month, I think I was in Germany, and we have an old neighbor there, a German woman, and he's now very old. She's very old now, and when I got there, she remembered me, and we had tea together. So when they really know you, and when they get used to you, they really open up. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, yeah. So I used to, when I was younger, I used to fly, and I got my pilot's license in gliders, and the airfield where we used to fly was actually run by a group of Germans, in South Africa. And I remember when I first started, flying with them, they keep their distance, but once you get to know them, they really are fun people, and they will help you.
Yeah.
Especially, with me, flying. And, a few years ago, it was more a man's kind of hobby, not really a woman's hobby.
Yeah.
So, so I had a lot of help, and it was really great fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So let's continue. So, what do you want to be doing 5 years from now?
If I answer this question from where I stand, like the company I'm working for, we don't have a quarry, like the natural stone quarry, and it's an expensive investment in Turkey to have a quarry. And I think for my 5-year or let's say 8-year plans, it's from 5 to 8 years, I plan for my company to acquire a good quarry and start doing the production from all the way from the roots of it. And that it's not just acquiring a quarry, because it's like a random painting. You can get a stone from a quarry which may not be demanded by the market. It has lots of different colors, from black all the way from white to black, with full purple and full red. It has lots of different types.
Oh.
So some quarry, like, you might end up with a very mixed color, and that's not just moving in the market. So that's why acquiring it is a much more risky investment. That's why for my 5 to 8 year plans, I think we as a company should acquire a good quarry. And as I am already the manager of the company, my sole aim is to improve the company in sales and in production quality, business, as a business in general.
Okay. And how well do you manage your time?
Well, usually that's a hard question for me to answer, because I always complain about myself that I'm not using my time very efficiently, but that's not because I'm not being able to finish the jobs or finish the works, but I'm working too much. That's why I'm thinking maybe I should manage my time better and limit do everything I'm doing in 12 hours. I have to do it in like 9 hours. That's why I'm not sure how well I'm managing my time. I'm not sure of it.
That's a hard question to to answer. I suppose, especially in in your kind of business, when you have so much to do. Yes, yeah. And how well do you work under pressure?
Under pressure, I think after starting working in this company, when I graduated, I got this offer and I started in this company. So this is my only company for 5 years now. I'm working, and in this 5 years, I think I have managed to develop a habit, like I can say a habit. I just trained myself to be like some brand has this saying, "Don't crack under pressure." Like I made it my motto and trained myself to don't crack under pressure. That's why I think I have managed it to learn in 5 years.
Well, that's very good. Yes. And do you prefer working alone, or are you more of like a team player?
Actually, I think being a team member is sometimes exaggerated, especially for a manager, because some works require a great teamwork, and something being a manager also requires working alone. That's why when the job is suitable for teamwork, I usually do it with my co-workers or with my colleagues. But also I don't neglect to work alone. I just sometimes stay when everybody is gone. I just stay in the office and think, what should I do? And what should I have done, or next time what should be done. Like that's why I think I'm a fairly good group member and worker, but also I don't neglect working alone.
Okay. And okay, can you tell me about a time where you made a mistake or made some poor decision, and how did you handle it?
You know, sometimes, well, I have to think about it, but you know, sometimes just the material that you bought doesn't, yeah, let's say not bought, but you ordered to be produced, doesn't come out as good as you want it, or as you think you have to acquire the certain limit of quality. And then when it's not like you can't say just this is bad and I don't want this material, because production has its own risks as well. That's why when you get too harsh on the producer, yeah, when you do a procurement, let's say you are ordering material from another producer, and you are just doing a procurement for your customers, and they just don't produce the quality you like, you can't just pressure them, like yeah, let's say you can't just pressure them, and when you do that, they stop working with you next time. They say you are just making trying to, yeah, you just try, let's say, how can I say it, you just put pressure on them, they say, for getting it cheaper or benefiting it from different perspectives. And they do, it's in Turkey, it works sometimes like this, they just stop doing business with you. That's why you have to find a different path to achieve your aim, and that's usually being persistent on what you require, but always talking very softly. Yeah, and you know, I have made that mistake when I first working in this area, when I was first going to inspect the materials, and they just said, okay, if you don't like the material, don't buy it, and we can't continue working this way. And then I realized that I have to talk more softly, but still, you know, I think it's a trick for negotiation. You have to get what you want, but get it very smoothly. So I think that's a problem that I have created, and the solution for it.
Hi, Mehmet, you've disappeared. Oh, you're back again. The screen froze for a few seconds.
Yeah, okay. Now I can see you.
Yeah, okay. Yes, the screen froze. I'm not sure what happened. But yes, you're right. So you need to be firm. So you need to be gentle but firm to get results.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell, you know.
Yes. So okay, so I think that your answers were really very good, and I think that you spoke really well. You didn't make very many mistakes. So there are a few comments that I wrote in the little chat. But in general, yes, whatever, if they ask you, I'm sure they'll ask you similar questions to what we discussed now. And if you answer them the way you answered me, I think you'll do really well. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
So I think we're almost at the end of the lesson. We have 1 minute left. Are there any questions you want to ask me? Is there anything that's not clear that you want cleared up?
No, I don't have any questions. I think thank you. Thanks a lot. And I'm very happy to have met you, Mitzi.
So Mehmet, yes, it was very nice to meet you too. And I'm happy I could help you with your interview questions.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.